Bitcoin to $13 million. Is that really possible? Trump, Cynthia Loomis, and Michael Saylor going to send Bitcoin the next 10 to 20 years. In today's video, we're going to break down how rapidly things changed. Like we said, we went from crypto being used for money laundering, a pet rock. At the same time, they were accumulating and building the infrastructure. If you're not paying attention, it's time to start paying attention. There's a short portal and window where the normal everyday person, Main Street, can get a piece of Wall Street. And it's happening super rapidly now. Now, here's the thing. I want you to take a deep breath with me. There's a short-term pressure, and then there's a long-term horizon. The number one thing you need to do is create a long-term horizon and then reverse engineer it to the short-term pressure. The short-term pressure is that we're heading into one of the most parabolic bull runs that we've ever had over the next 18 months. The long term is where your mindset should be. Yes, in the short term, you can make a large amount of money in a short amount of time. But if you're trying to get rich quick, you're going to get wrecked 100% of the time. So on my channel, I'm going to break down the facts, figures, numbers, logic, and on the back end, I share with you exactly what I'm doing. But today, I'm going to show you how Cynthia Loomis is pushing hard for Trump to bring in this treasury bill. And if that happens, man, it's game over, guys. I'm also going to break down where they are changing the real estate game, guys. Bitcoin, I believe, was created to solve the sovereign debt crisis. And I'm getting more confirmation every single day. So let's dive right in. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is this is the was on Fox on Friday. This is digital gold. Senator Cynthia Loomis calls for a Trump to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And now Trump keeps bringing it up. He talks about this. So this isn't some secret. He's like, hey, listen, maybe we'll pull Bitcoin underneath the treasury. We'll write a check to pay off the national debt. So we'll listen to a little bit of this video, probably about 4 minutes. And then I'm going to dive a little bit deeper, and I'm going to show you guys how they're doing really creative things with real estate, backing it by Bitcoin. Michael Saylor today purchased a massive amount of Bitcoin. He is going all in, and he says it can hit 13 million. I think it was by 2040. If you hold 0.1 Bitcoin and you just held that till retirement, you're probably going to do very, very well.
Cavalry is coming to Congress to help the hero who's been holding down the fort all by herself. In fact, Bitcoin magazine features Senator Loomis from Wyoming just recently, and a post that was talking about the strategic Bitcoin reserve. It said it's a modest proposal, but has huge upside. So let's bring in Republican Senator from Wyoming, Cynthia Loomis. Senator, first and foremost, listen, I know you love that. You look great, by the way, with laser eyes. Let's talk about the Bitcoin Act of 2024, because the most important thing for a lot of people is establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. On the other hand, though, some people say, why would we need such a thing?
I want you to think about that. I want you to write this down in your mind as historical. This is going to be in history books that kids 100 years from now, or 50 years from now, or 30 years from now are going to be reading in their history books. The Bitcoin Act of 2024. Remember that.
Well, first of all, Charles, I want to compliment you on your newest book. I read it, I loved it, and I recommend it to everybody.
Thank you.
And among the things you raised, Charles, in your book is the importance of having diversified assets, the importance of having some things that are a long-term store of value. And Bitcoin is certainly that.
Very important. That is exactly my strategy. I'm using Bitcoin as my long-term store of value, and I'll explain that on the back end.
So why Bitcoin would make sense as part of our strategic reserves is that we recognize other long-term stores of value and put them in strategic reserve. We have a gold strategic reserve. We have an oil strategic reserve. I think it is fitting that Bitcoin, now that is really digital gold, be included among our reserve assets. So I'm proposing in the Bitcoin Act that we purchase roughly 200,000 Bitcoin a year just by converting money we already have into Bitcoin and hold them for 20 years. If we did that with, say, 5% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist, which is roughly 1 million Bitcoin, We could cut our debt in half in 20 years.
Crazy. Think about that. Okay. All of this is super, super bullish for your portfolio. So if you're able to accumulate maybe 0.1 of Bitcoin, you get a couple of really, really real world solve altcoins, and you just hold those, right? We're not trying to get rich quick here. We're getting wealthy for sure by understanding where this is heading. If they hold that for 20 years, do you realize what that is going to do to the value of Bitcoin? Governments are going to be stacking it all over the world. They're all going to copy America. And if Trump does what he says and he pulls Bitcoin mining into America and we become the crypto capital of the world, you are so early right now. It's like a portal just opened up. One of the eighth wonders of the world is compound interest, right? Every 7 years at 10%, money doubles. It's almost like we beat the math. And we won't have this opportunity in history ever again. We won't. We got this bull run, and then we got the bear market 2026, 2027, then we go into 2028, and then we go back up. And then after that, I really feel this is going to be normalized, okay? So the crypto industry jockeys for seats at Trump's promised council. So he's building a council within the White House. Trump has promised crypto-friendly administration. Council likely to be housed within the White House, source says. Will likely coordinate policy and set up Bitcoin reserve. And industry wants to end Biden enforcement actions. Okay. Now, this is something I wanted to show you guys because this is how deep things are getting and how innovative things are getting. This is really interesting. I just want you to listen to, we're going to listen to the first part of this, about 5 minutes, but I want you to listen to the first part of this, what these guys are doing now with Bitcoin around real estate. The reason why they're doing this, guys, is because think about this for just a moment. This is where my brain is at. And I'm going to go into a little bit and I'll repeat this again on the back end. But if Bitcoin goes up about, based on Saylor's model, right? It goes up about 50% per year. Where can you get 50% on your money every single year? So I'm going to be storing any excess capital in Bitcoin. That's where I'll be storing my money, in Bitcoin, right? Because I get paid in debt. Everybody's getting paid in debt. You get paid $10, you get paid $100 on Friday. You have 3% purchasing power. That's it. $30 purchasing power. That's it. So I'm transmuting that 100 into something that will go up 50% every single year. You don't have to have some big crazy esoteric strategy. It's very simply of triaging money from a deflation to a deflationary asset from an inflationary asset. Very simple.
Andrew, I'm so pleased to be here. And I'm really excited to announce today on Squawk Box this loan that we've just completed. We combined a seasoned multifamily asset in Philadelphia, about 50 meters away from the First Bank of the United States, the one that Alexander Hamilton started. We combined that asset with around 20 Bitcoin. And we provided a loan to refinance the existing mortgage on the property, to provide the asset sponsor some funding for capital improvements, and with the remainder to buy the 20 Bitcoin.
Okay, we got to go backwards.
Go ahead.
You got to go backwards. We're just going to slow the whole thing down so everybody understands what happened. Okay. So there's a property.
Yep.
Physical property.
Multifamily. That's right. Multifamily. 63 units.
It's a multifamily property. The sponsor, effectively the owner of that property.
Yep.
Needs a loan.
That's right.
Okay. They come to you.
That's right.
Okay. You say, we'll provide you the loan in the form of
a loan.
A classic loan.
That's right.
Okay. So you're going to give them cash.
That's right. Term financing.
Term financing. And how long's the loan? Just
10 years.
10-year loan. Okay.
That's right.
At above market rate or below, or what's
no market rate interest rate?
I'm just trying to slow the whole thing. Okay. Now let's introduce the Bitcoin piece into it.
That's right.
So no. Explain how the Bitcoin piece then relates. So the loan has been provided.
The use of proceeds is to pay off the existing financing. So
the use of the proceeds
of the loan is to retire the existing mortgage.
Right. So there's an old mortgage.
Gone.
They're going to pay the old mortgage off.
It's been paid off.
Okay.
Now they have a little bit extra money to make some improvements in the property.
Right. So a little bit extra cash. So the amount of money you've lent pays off the old loan.
That's right.
It's also you have a little bit of extra to fix
Improve
stuff up.
The property, fix stuff up.
Yep.
And then with the remainder, which is a little bit
so
more.
You have even a little extra, an extra
right.
turn.
And that, instead of cash out, Bitcoin in. And we use it to purchase some Bitcoin and add it to the collateral package of the loan. So now our loan is supported by both the traditional asset, the 63-unit apartment building, and the Bitcoin.
Genius. Like this guy, this is genius, guys. Everybody's starting to see this in the banking system. They're starting to see this, guys. It is wild what is happening. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around this, on how lucky we are to be part of this. Okay. So I'm going to show you some stuff. I'm going to be showing you, and one of the biggest things too is why I'm working to explain so much around Bitcoin is, and why my narrative changed quite a bit in July last year. I'll be honest with you guys. I never really talked about Bitcoin before. I'm a huge XRP holder. I always say the big three are going to be XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin when all the dust settles, right? I'm not saying you should buy those. I'm just saying that's going to be the big three. And you'll understand if you see XRP unleashed, that Ethereum is deep in the banking system. It's always has been. I've been explaining that since 2020. Okay. Our infrastructure is changing, guys. You're literally investing in the new infrastructure of the quantum. Now, be very careful when I say quantum financial system. QFS accounts are a scam. Be careful with that shit. Okay. Watch this.
You know, over the last 2 weeks, Andrew, we've generated $5.4 billion in BTC gains. We're making 500 million a day. I'm staring at my screen and we're selling dollar bills for $3, sometimes a million times a minute. And so it's not impossible. I mean, we may very well be the most profitable company in the United States, growing the fastest right now, because there's not many companies that are making $500 million a day doing what they're doing.
Oh, Milo,
and so if you don't like Bitcoin, you don't want any piece of it. But if you like Bitcoin, then this is a monster for you.
500 million a day. MicroStrategies is going to be one of the #1 companies in the world. Okay. So today, MicroStrategies has acquired 55,500 BT, 5.4 billion at 97,000 per Bitcoin. So think about this for just a moment. Their dollar cost average looks like they have another 32% weight, has achieved BTCL of 35%, quarter to date 59%, and year to date 59% year to date, right? Where can you get 59% on your money? They're hodling 386,000 Bitcoin acquired for 21.9 billion at $56,000 average buying price. Now, what's going to happen is in the future, people are going to be like, wow, I got Bitcoin at $97,000. Wow, I got Bitcoin at $150,000. Like, isn't that crazy to even think about that? To even say that, right? So here's the thing. This is let's demystify all of this. So people see Bitcoin at 90, and I'm just going to share with you exactly my mindset and exactly what I do. Okay. You see Bitcoin at 97,000 today. Okay. You don't have to buy a Bitcoin. Okay. You can buy a Satoshi. Right. And so this is my strategy. So I look at Bitcoin as gold. Okay. Gold, store of value. My goal is to accumulate as much gold as humanly possible over my lifetime. Okay. So we have our Bitcoin strategy, which is we're accumulating as much as we can right now. Then we have our altcoin strategies, where all other cryptocurrencies. Okay. So I'm a huge fan of XRP, XLM, HBAR, like ADA. I'm trying to think VeChain, just things like that. Right. So I'm very focused on fundamentals. I have altcoins in payment rails. I have altcoins in infrastructure. I have coins in supply chain management, gaming, right? And through there, when these things profit, I'm holding 50% long-term, right? When they profit, I'm going to be pulling as they go up the risk pyramid, right? We're going into huge parabolic moves. I'm going to pull profit, but the only reason I'm pulling profit is because I'm going to move it into things that are either going to compound or grow. That's it. I'm not going to go back into the US dollar. It doesn't make any sense at all. If I go take $1 million in gains and I throw it in the US dollar, it has 30% purchasing power. That's silly, right? The bank is going to take my money and put it in the capital markets, right? They're going to lend it to the next person. They're going to take my money and do what I'm doing with it. You need to start to think like a bank. So if I make $1 million in profit, the only reason I'm going to pull it is to move it into an asset that's going to continue to grow, or something that's going to help my family in the future. So the first thing I do is if you have any debt, pay off your debts, get out of debt. That's the #1 thing you should be doing. Number 2 is I move mine into cash value life insurance. Okay. So I'm diversified. I like to index about 30% of my income. So I have my cash value life insurance protecting, compounding, growing. I have the death benefit for my family. So that's my protection for my family, right? I don't like to play in the, if something's like this, up and down, crypto, stock market, I want to make sure my family's secure. That also has to do with my legacy Rockefeller waterfall system, my dynasty trust for my family. Okay. So I'm using insurance for that. Okay. So I pull profits, max fund my policies. Really important. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't lose money. Rule number 1. Okay. Follow rule number 1. So I max fund my policies. I'll buy a little bit more silver. I'm going to get some more real estate. I'm just going to slowly start stacking real estate for tax liabilities as I learn that process. That's a new realm for me. Okay. And then I'm going to, any excess is going to be stacked into Bitcoin. Okay. So if I have excess profits, I'm going to triage that money, if that's the right word. I'm going to move that money up into Bitcoin. Okay. So I have my altcoins and I'm going to start to condense and mature my portfolio as the next 10 years go. I have a lot of cryptocurrencies. I would say probably maybe 23 cryptos, something like that. So I used to have a lot and I condensed into this bull market, and then I'll start to mature my portfolio down into the top 5 for me. Okay. Once I condense into that, I'll always be triaging back up into Bitcoin, store value, back up into Bitcoin, store value. Okay, then I'll end up with my big 3. I'll have my mature portfolio on the crypto side over the next 20 years. Okay, hold that for legacy. And then if I need to, I can borrow against my Bitcoin, collateralize to get tax-free money to buy more assets. Okay, so a lot of people, we're getting thousands of messages. We're getting thousands of messages a day across the platforms now. It used to be hundreds. Now it's just exploding, right? So take a deep breath. You're really early still. Okay. Now there's a little bit of intensity. There's some sense of urgency because we're going into the bull market, but I don't want you rushing into things because you have to learn the fundamentals. Bull market number 1 is right now. This is where you educate yourself. Bull market number 2 is where you can become wealthy. Okay. So bull run number 1 was 2020 to 2022 for me. That's where I educated myself. That's where I learned the game. That's where I made some big mistakes, right? Then this is bull run number 2. This is where the wealth is coming in. Okay. Bull run number 3 is going to be generational wealth. Okay. But remember, if you don't rewire the foundation, you're going to end up in the exact same situation. A bunch of people get a lot of money. If they don't have the wealth foundation, they're going to go broke. If you have bad habits now, you're going to have worse habits. Okay. Money doesn't change people. It only exposes your current habits. That's all it does. So there's a lot of information, but remember, take a deep breath. What I keep telling people, for example, like here's a strategy. Maybe you go to Starbucks every morning. Instead of giving Starbucks Corporation $6 a day, throw $6 into Bitcoin. Throw $3 into XRP, $3 into Bitcoin, and let that ride till retirement. You're probably going to do pretty well. You can either give it to Starbucks or give it to your family in the future. So it's not that complicated. Okay. We have to take a deep breath. Again, sense of urgency is now because we're going into the bull run. That's going to collapse in 2026. Then we got 3 years to recoup, get ready, accumulate, and then we're going to go through the same cycle. Remember, bull run number 1 right now is your education, getting the foundation, and then bull run number 2 is where you really change your family's life. So hope that information helps. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you do. Couple things, big warning. I will never proactively DM you. That is not me DMing you proactively. I will never ask about your crypto. I will never ask you to send me money for a trading platform in crypto. We don't have a crypto trading platform. We don't trade people's crypto. Those are scams. QFS accounts, scam. Don't send anybody your crypto. Don't ever do that. Influencers are not reaching out to you. I'm not going to send you a message, a private message or anything like that. We will only respond to your messages proactively on our verified accounts. That's it. Okay. But I do have free resources for you. I get hundreds of messages a day around cash value life insurance. Okay. But I want to make it very easy for you. So there's some cash value life insurance where we protect our families, we protect our wealth. There's a needs assessment in my bio here, or in my bio, or in the description of this video. When you fill out the needs assessment, okay, we did that because it's what I do may not work for you. So my team needs to do a full needs assessment, and we can help you with retirement planning. Okay. Retirement strategies. So they're going to text you, call you, email you. You will never send my team member money ever directly. We don't get paid by the client. It's a free consultation. Okay. That's in 50 states in the United States and Canada. The second thing is, if you want to get your shit together, put your blinders on, and you want to learn how I got stoic and how I developed this whole ecosystem, put your blinders on. You can go through my 120-day challenge. I've helped over 9,000 people worldwide get their shit together. Take a deep breath. It's here and it's here. Okay. Get in my academy. We will help you. Live calls, Q&A calls, your tribe, your vibe. You can ask questions. You're around your vibe. It's your tribe. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together. See you on the inside.